Welcome back to Nick's Algebraics. So last time we were adding and subtracting rational numbers, so today we're going to multiply and divide rational numbers. Before I begin the video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. So if you remember doing operations with integers, it's the same things with rational numbers when it comes to multiplying and dividing. So if they have the same sign, then the product or the quotient is going to be positive. And if they have a different sign, then the product or quotient is going to be negative. So, as you can see, 7.2 is positive and negative 0.2 is negative. So they have different signs, so their product is going to be negative. So let's multiply this out. 2 negative. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 7 times 2 is 14. And when you multiply to 0 to both of these, you're just going to get 0. And when you add that, you get 144. And since this decimal point is back 1 and this one is also back 1, then this is going to be back twice. So the product is negative 1.44. So same rules with division. So they have the same signs. They're both negative. So the quotient is going to be positive. So we have 10.5 and 22.05. So we can't just go ahead and divide it right at the moment. We have to make them whole numbers. So to make this a whole number, we could move the decimal point 2 to the right and get 22.05. But what we do to one number, we have to do to the other number. So we have to also move this 2 to the right. So this is just 10.50. So if we move it 2 to the right, then we get 1050. So 1050 doesn't go into 2, it doesn't go into 22, it doesn't go into 220, but it does go into 2205 twice. And 2 times 1050 is 2100. And we're going to subtract it and get 105. It can't go into 105, so we're going to add the point and add a 0 to it. And it goes into 1050 once, and when you subtract, now you have 0 remainder. So the quotient is 2.1. I'm not really going to get into the process of long division, because if you're a high schooler, you're pretty much just going to use a calculator. So when you're finding the product of two fractions, all you have to do is multiply the numerators and the denominators. It's even easier than adding. So in this case, 2/5 times 1/3 is going to equal 2 times 1 divided by 5 times 3, which is just 2 over 15. That's it. So with 1/2, we have to put that into an improper fraction to do this operation. So 2 times 1 is 2, and when you add 1, that's 3, so that's 3 over 2 times 3 over 5. So that equals 3 times 3 divided by 5 times 2, which equals 9 over 10. Now in this case, we have 2 over 4. So what we could do is we could simplify this and make that a 1 and make that a 2. So we just divided by both of them by 2 because they're both even. So now we have 1 times 1 divided by 2 times 9, which is just 1 over 18. with different signs, it's going to be negative. So it's negative 3 times 3 divided by 4 times 8. And that equals negative 9 over 32. And that's all. So an important concept in Algebra 1 are reciprocals. So two numbers whose product is 1 are called reciprocals, also known as multiplicative inverses. So for example, the reciprocal of 3 over 8 is 8 over 3. Because when I multiply them together, I'm going to get 1. Because the 8 and the 8 and the 3 and the 3 are going to just divide and become 1. So basically you're just switching the numerator and denominator. So for 2 and 4/5, let's put this into an improper fraction. So 2 times 5 is 10, and plus 4, that's 14. So 14 over 5. So the reciprocal of that is going to be 5 over 14, because their product is 1. Now, when you're dividing fractions, you're going to multiply that by the reciprocal. Because if you have something like 6 divided by 2, that's 3. If you have 6 divided by 1, that's 6. So if you have 6 divided by 1/2, that's going to be 12, because we're multiplying by 2 each time. As the denominator decreases, the quotient increases. So the way we got from 6 to 12 is we multiplied by 2, which is just the reciprocal of 1/2. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So 1/3 times 2 over 1, which equals 2 over 3. So same thing with this. So 3/8 times the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3 over 2. And that equals 3 times 3 is 9, and 8 times 2 is 16. So let's put 2.5 in this case into a improper fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4, and plus 1 is 5. So we have 5 over 2. And we're going to multiply by the reciprocal again. So 3 over 4 times 2 over 5, which equals 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 5 is 20. And since they're both even, we could divide by 2 to put it in simplest form. So that's going to be 3 over 10. Now, although these are both negative, they have the same sign, so the quotient is going to be positive. So we have negative 1/5, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So negative 10 over 3. And that's going to be negative 1 times negative 10 divided by 5 times 3. So negative 1 times negative 10, they have the same sign, so the product is going to be positive. So it's going to be 10, and 5 times 3 is 15. And these are both divisible by 5. So you're going to get 2 over 3. And that's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. I'll put the worksheets in the descriptions with the solutions as usual, and have a great day.